So today I am going to present Seeta Swayamvara from Tulsi Ramcharitmanas. The language is Avadhi and it is set to Ragamalika. Before I quickly explain the Sankalan, which of the dohas and chopais. Chopais are 4-line verses which link the dohas, like the Ashtapadi in Jayadev's Gita Govind, and then there are so many shloks which link the narrative. I would like to indulge in a couple of minutes of admiration for our traditions, for our history, culture, which gives us so much space to explore and to put in our own bit. Nothing is held like a rudhi. It's a parampara, and in that parampara there are so many versions of the Ramayana narrative, the tale in south and north and east and west and center, from the tribal to the folk to the classical. So one of the things that I really love to share is something called Gadabada Ramayana, which some naughty Natkhat poet has created in the north, and that too from Ayodhya. And a very telling thing that how perceptions differ. For somebody, the Ram can have a moustache. For somebody, Ram may not have a moustache. We need not go by the calendar arts depicting Rama or Krishna as buttermouth, lipsticked male Kshatriyas. So there are so many versions. In this Gadabada Ramayana, for example, at the end, when Sri Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, Hanuman, Sugriv, Vibhushan, with the entire Vanasena, Jamavan, they come back to Ayodhya after 14 years. There's great celebrations. And they stay on and enjoy the sights and sounds of Ayodhya. They are all rewarded adequately. And yet, as the day for their departure for Kishkindha comes close, there's a little murmur among them. And this murmur is carried to Hanuman, and Hanuman puts it before Sri Ram. They are all saying that we are so happy, we are so blessed, but we haven't had enough darshan of Sita Maiya. So they said, okay. Next morning at the Darbar, Sri Ram and Sita arrive, and among great Jai-Jaikars, they walk through the audience. And Sita ji is looking at each one, blessing, smiling. And the monkeys are all nudging each other and saying, oh, isn't she beautiful? Kitni sushil hai. Oh, look at her smile. Look at her eyes. Oh, no wonder our Lord Rama waited so long. No wonder. All this is going on as they're walking past. One mischievous monkey is watching all this. And he turns to his colleagues and says loudly, you all think she's beautiful? She doesn't even have a tail. This has, in my eyes, in the eyes of, I think, all of us, equal value to that of Kamba Ramayana or Tulsi Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana, because perceptions are there, and also it teaches us not to be long-faced all the time, but to enjoy, celebrate, and laugh also. The narrative is which I have chosen is like this, with the entry of Vishwamitra with Ram and Lakshman in the Mithila Darbar of Janak, the court of Janak. Rajata Raja Samaj Mahu Kosala Raja Kisor Sundara Shyamala Gauratana. Shyam is Ram, Gaura is Lakshman, Vishwa Bilochana Chor, and then the court poets, Bharcharans, they sing out and speak and declare the vow taken by Janak that whoever succeeds in lifting the great bow given by Shiva and breaking it will definitely be wedded by Sita. And listening to this vow, all the assembled great kings, emperors, Bali, Mani, arrogant, vain, they started pulling at their moustaches and tying up their kamarbands, the waistbands, and preparing themselves for the great task. And as one by one go forward, they all fall by the wayside, come to a very sorry pass. And then how the alankaras, of course, great poets use with such ease, Atishayokti, Utpreksha, Upama. The Atishayokti Alankara of Tulsi says that when each one did not succeed, even Ravana, Bana, such great one came, they decided 10,000 of them to go together to lift the bow. Bhupa sahasa dasa ekahi bara lage uthavan tara hinatara. It did not even move a fraction of an inch. And then Sri Hatabhay, the luster on their faces was lost, and they all quietly sunk into their seats. And then, looking at this, Janak is quite saddened, and he says, Kahu kahu yah labha na bhava. Who doesn't want this opportunity? Kahu na sankara chapa chadhava. Are rahu chadhau tora babhai. Leave alone lifting it and breaking it. Tilla bhara bhumi na sake chudai. You could not even move it. Till is a sesame seed, even that much. And now, he says, Abajani ko makhe bhatamani. Don't think all of you are Veer Purushas. Veera biheen mahi main jani. Today I have come to know there is not a single Veer Purush left on the face of this earth. Tyajahu asa nija nija graha jau. Please go back to your own empires and homes and palaces. Likhana vidhi Vaidehi vivahu. Maybe destiny has not given Vaidehi this great joy of being married. And then, of course, the Kopa of Lakshman, who's always short-tempered, and he roars at Janak. Kahi Janaka asa anuchita bani, bigdamana raghukula mani jani. How dare he utter such words? Doesn't he know Raghukula Mani himself is seated here? I will teach him a lesson. And as Lakshman speaks, the Sheshanak speaks, Prithvi starts rotating, swaying, and Vishwamitra knows the right moment has come, and he calms down Lakshman and orders Ram to go forward. In the meanwhile, Janaki is watching the scene from her Gavaksha, and she cannot have enough of looking at Ram. Every time she's looking at Ram and then thinking of the silly vow taken by this father. Looking at Ram, oh my God, why? Where this Kathor Dhanushya and where this Komalagad? Kaha dhanukulishahu chapa kathora, kaha syamal mridu gata kisora. And she's praying to Gauri, she's praying to all the, please let him break the vow. I've given my heart to him. And here, Guru hi pranam mana hi manakinha. He bowed to the Guru in his mind, heart, and went forward. And then Ati la ghava uthaya dhanulinha. Like a feather, he lifted the bow. Ati la ghava. Damake udamini jimi jabalayo puni dhanu nabhamandala samabhayo. And the minute he lifted the bow, the great bow became one, as if the lightning had rent it asunder, became one with the heavens. People are just, they haven't even taken cognizance of what is happening, and within that fraction of a moment, he has lifted it, pulled the pratyancha, and broken it. And this great sound, tankar, fills the universe. And of course, the palace women, they all come dancing and singing, Mangal Vajintra, instruments are playing, Janaki, Sakhis look at her and say, how can we describe her joy at hearing this news? She looks like the Chataka Pakshi, who's just got the first drops of the water from the Swati Nakshatra. We have this wonderful themes in our literature that the Chataka bird does not drink ordinary water, waits for that time in monsoon when the Swati Nakshatra is at the middle of the sky with the first drops, that she's like that, listening to the news. And her beauty is augmented by various ornamentations, and as she's brought to the court, Tanasa coach, she's not walking like that, very happy to go to meet Ram, but Tanasa coach, very shyly, modestly, Mana Parama Uchahu, modest outwardly, but her heart leaping with joy. Gudha Prema Lakhi Parahina Kahu, that Gudha Prem, that she is Bhudevi, this is Vishnu. Nobody knows that. And Jaya Sameep Rama Chabi Dekhi. As she was brought forward, she lifted her eyes to look at Ram. Rahi Janu Kuwari Chitra Avarekhi. She was struck. She could not move. And then the role of the Sakhi again. I wish there were more Sakhis like that today. Chatura Sakhi Kahi Lakha Bujhai. She looked at this scene. Oh my God. She went and whispered in her ears, quickly, the time is passing. Put the Jaimal in his neck. Chatura Sakhi Lakhi Kaha Bujhai Pahiravavu Jayamala Suhai. And then as they exchange garlands, again there is great celebration. And at the end, as they go back to Ayodhya, Tulsidas says that all the assembled kings were like Kumudini, the night lilies, because when the sun shines, the night lilies drop. Here is Rama, the Suryavanshi, and looking at this, looking at him, they all became like night lilies.
Kaha Syamala Mriduga